Hi, I'm Nadia Virasamy, the Chief Executive of Moving Into Dance. I come from a non-arts background, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that anymore, since I have been with Moving Into Dance for about 15 plus years. I come from an academic background. I used to lecture in sociology and industrial management. And by some very strange turn of events, I found Moving Into Dance, or should I say Moving Into Dance found me. I have never for 1 minute regretted joining this amazing organization, which is now 44 years old and was founded by Sylvia Glasser in 1978 at the height of apartheid. Moving Into Dance began as a struggle organization. Sylvia Glasser would sneak youth in from the townships to her home in the northern suburbs, where she converted her garage into a dance studio. And there she would train young black youth in dance and then try to place them back in their communities where they could teach dance, perform as dancers. And the idea behind that was for them to be able to develop the community, take some form of recreation to their communities, but also be able to generate some income for themselves. So present day, Moving Into Dance operates on a very similar premise, where we train youth from disadvantaged backgrounds who are talented in dance and try and place them back in the communities they come from. Moving Into Dance's programs involve a 3-year training course, as well as a professional dance company. And the professional dance company is our job creation element relating to the training. Another project, apart from the myriad of community projects we have, is a project called Enabled to Dance, which we began in 2016. And essentially we work in special needs schools for a year. And we create a dance piece or a few dance pieces in each of the schools. And we allow these young people the opportunity to perform in a professional setting. So we usually run 3 shows over 2 days. And we bring in their family and their friends to see them just do this amazing thing. And this project is really close to my heart because it has completely shifted the way I think Moving Into Dance thinks about dance. You know, we're so tied up with this notion of perfect body types and perfect movement and technique. But this has just opened us up to new experiences in terms of ability and inclusivity, and just allowing freedom of opportunity to whoever will embrace dance. So when I was given this topic, actually one word, resources, I was a little bit stumped, I have to admit. And the first thing that comes to mind, I mean, working in a not-for-profit arts environment, was what resources? You know, it's a continuous struggle within the arts environment to try and source these essential core operational facets that we need. And I think we become so used to working with so little that sometimes we don't notice. Today, what I want to speak about in terms of resources is human capital, and that is you. What is human capital? How is it a resource? And I could speak broadly about organizations and the kind of staffing they have, but that is not what I want to speak about. I want to speak about you as a resource, you as an artist, and how you claim yourself to be in that position of being human capital, not just in investing in society, but in how you invest in yourself. My frame of reference is dance, so I may allude a lot more to dance, but I think what I have to say can easily be adapted across the creative sector. As an artist, you are your own resource. you have this amazing opportunity to be able to invent and reinvent and readapt yourself. Opportunities where you can create work for yourself. And I think there's such a huge issue, there definitely is a huge issue with unemployment in this country. But you have a skill that if properly honed, properly utilized, you can be your job. You can create your job. And that is essentially what your resource is. So what we need to do is take a step back and figure out how you can adapt yourself to become your own business. As an artist, you can create your own opportunities. So why try and access this very small pool of auditions and plays that you need to attend that attracts such a vast majority of the arts industry, whereas you are essentially placing your power, your creative ability in the hands of somebody else. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that if you're completely reliant on that, you are reducing your ability to create your own opportunity in terms of work. So looking back at what an artist can do, it is about you being able to look at yourself as a brand. You are your own brand. And you need to figure out what you want this brand to be. Your career is your responsibility. And the moment you allow someone or something to take over this responsibility from you, you allow this person or this thing to take away your power. And when you assume power over your career, you are able to determine what your end point is. So you always need to understand that you need to have a career plan. And having a career plan needn't be something massive and complicated. It could be as simple as 3 steps of what you hope to achieve in 3 years. So perhaps your first year could be, acquiring a qualification, the second year experience, the third year, starting your own production. So one of the core components of career success is you being able to plan. What works to your disadvantage is if you just kind of throw yourself into things and not have a proper structure as to what you want to achieve. Your career is your responsibility, and you are well within your right and your ability to drive that career in the direction that you want. So planning is absolutely crucial. Another core component is being absolutely honest with yourself. And this is always very difficult. You need to sit down and actually have a conversation with yourself. And I know that's frowned upon in most societies, but ask yourself, what is it that you lack? What do you need to improve? What are your successes? You need to do a skills audit. In the same way government has to do lifestyle audits, or they claim to do them, in that sort of way. You need to be absolutely honest, or you need to intrinsically reassess your skills, your career, reevaluate this career plan that you have. And you need to find ways to empower yourself. So part of this is looking at where you're at in your career, evaluating what skills you lack, and that's always quite difficult. And sometimes it helps to bring an external party in to look, someone who knows you really well, or someone who's watched you grow or mentored you, and ask them to assist you in finding those areas in your career, in your performance schedule that needs to be improved. And once you do that, you have a clear idea of what you need to work on. And it really is about continuously reevaluating, reinventing, redefining yourself. And skills is something that has to be constantly upgraded. We may not like to hear it, but it is something that you have to do to ensure that you are relevant. And I think it gets harder as you get older to want to learn. But fortunately for you, you have youth on your side. At least I hope you still do. I'm starting to wave it goodbye. But being young means that you generally have this feeling of invincibility. So use this feeling to your advantage. Grasp opportunities. Take what you need. Learn as much as you can. And just continue to do that. So I remember when we started our Enable Through Dance project at Moving Into Dance, I was petrified. I looked at every angle as to why this could go wrong, and every angle showed me what could go wrong. And I think it was more about a lack of knowledge in terms of dealing with young people living with disabilities, but also just a fear. And I remember just walking around the building and speaking to our trainees and our interns and even our dance company about politically correct language and how you engage with people living with disabilities and how we're trying so hard, not to offend people living with disabilities. I was just in a constant state of anxiety. And one day, I go upstairs into the studio and there is an inclusive class happening. And there was this young man who was on crutches. And as I approached the studio, I noticed that he was working with some of our interns. And suddenly in the middle of this rehearsal, I think they were taking a break, and our intern dancers go up to him. They take one of his crutches and they start running away with it. So he's got the other crutch and he starts kind of running behind them as fast as he could on his one crutch, trying to catch them, get his other crutch back. And I remember standing there in the horror, like, how could they do this? So I go back down to my office and think about this. And it just kind of struck me at that moment that everything I was concerned about was a non-entity. Because what these intern dancers were doing was exactly what they would do with any other dancer. So in their own crazy kind of way, they have embraced this young man. To them, they did not see disability. They saw a friend that they could tease and run around with and just include him in what they were doing. And that for me was completely amazing. And it kind of got me thinking about all those things that I needed to unlearn, that all that anxiety that I had around this project, to let it go, because in some way, young people will find a way to adapt. And that is gold to you. That is a strength that you inadvertently have. Your ability to adapt means you have an ability to embrace new things, to learn. Grab that completely and use it to your advantage. Another crucial component in your arsenal of you being your own resource is networking. The more visible you are, the more you are top of mind. And over the years, I have seen several incredible performers that have reached success with companies and have at some point decided to go off on their own, which is great, which is absolutely great. But because they lacked a support network, a lot of their careers had failed. So it is crucial that you build a strong network, a support base, that you already create your opportunities in terms of partnering with people so that you enhance your career trajectory. You're going to hate what I'm about to say, but prepare to work damn hard. Nothing comes easy. And unfortunately, as artists, we seem to think that our talent gets us to the sky. I'm here to burst that bubble. Nothing can be achieved completely without hard work, and that is on you. As artists, we often come from a background of discipline, but we seem to confine that level of discipline to the studio or to the theater or to the stage. It goes way beyond that. That discipline has to be entrenched in you as a person. As a person and as a resource, you are a complete whole that is dependent on discipline, whether it is discipline in your art form or the discipline of enhancing your career. Your discipline is your commitment to your success. Another key component is professionalize your craft. What do I mean by this? So look back and see what you lack. Learn how to do an invoice. Get basic training in how to read contracts. Be able to write a proposal. Be able to source funding. Be able to report. Have basic financial skills. I'm not asking you to do accounting. I'm asking you to know how to read a bank statement. Know how to account for money. These are skills that will get you far. If your career is your business, then you need to know how to run that business and how to run that business efficiently. So it's the simple skills that you can do for yourself that will show up as you being professional, that you know what you're doing, and that you are on top of your game. That is a key component in ensuring that you as a resource are in charge of your career and that you run your career, and even if that career is just you, that you're running it like a business, a professional. I want to speak about integrity. So integrity can be defined as doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. And I feel that this word should become a South Africanism because we are surrounded by so much that directs us in a particular way that is not integrity based. And I want to say this because I think as artists, we often fall short in terms of whether it is our work ethic or integrity to the kind of work we do, or just generally integrity in terms of how we conduct ourselves. What you want to achieve and how you want to achieve it should be based on a premise of integrity. And integrity should drive how you are performing as a person and how you want to be seen. So I understand that there are times where we cannot turn down work. I mean, there are bills that need to be paid, there's rent, there's food. But you need to understand that at some point, your career trajectory is based on your career path planning. And once you have that path in place, it is about constantly working toward developing and evolving this path. So continue, persevere toward your career goal, and you will reach a point where you can turn down work, when you can get to choose what you want to do and what you don't want to do. But as I said before, it comes with hard work, and stop at nothing from letting you get to that point where you have achieved what you aim to do. And then once you get there, reset your goals, redefine yourself, and keep moving forward. This year at Moving Into Dance, we have a motto at the beginning of the year. And I read this thing that said, focus on growth, not perfection. And it had me confused for a few days, because why would we not want to be perfect? And that kind of just got me just decoding this thing. And pretty much what I got out of it is, focusing on growth means that you are moving, you are changing, you are adapting, you are growing. But when you're striving for perfection, you're stuck in one place. You're going through the same routine over and over and over again. You're getting good at it, but you're not growing. You're not learning anything new. Perfection comes later. Right now, focus on growth. And when you're growing, you're absorbing more, you're learning more, you're getting more experience, you are becoming more relevant. Last year, at our end of year graduation ceremony for our first years, I spoke about something called rules are meant to be broken. And essentially, what I got to say was that too often, being young is used as an excuse for not being efficient, for not being punctual, for lacking integrity, for being reckless and being irresponsible. And that should never be an excuse. Youth should be the time in your life where, sure, you make mistakes, but you learn from those mistakes. I read something recently by a famous sports person that said that his father said to him, "Son, I don't have much to give you, but I have a good name. Don't mess that up." And that's what you want for yourself. That's what your integrity should bring to you. A good name that is known by everyone. When anybody hears of you, they know about that background, about this good name. And protect your career. Protect yourself as a resource that feeds that career. Protect your passion. And that's what your career is. It's your passion. You are in this incredible position that not many people have. Your job is your hobby, it's your passion, it's what you love. Other people need to collect stamps because working at a bank is boring. You get to live, work, breathe your passion. So why not protect it? Do everything in your power to ensure that you get to live your passion, to work your passion, to love your passion more and more every day. That is up to you. Finally, I want to say, Picasso said, learn the rules like a pro so that you can break them like an artist. Why are those rules there? Learn those rules. Learn why these rules exist. Learn to function within these rules. The rules are important, just like structure in creativity is important. Once you've mastered those rules, you have complete license to break them like the professional creative that you are. In summary, you are your own resource. You create your own opportunities. You are responsible for your own career. Protect your passion. To conclude, be the resource that you want the world to access.